Hey there, I'm author Sarah A. Chrisman.
And I'm Gabriel Chrisman.
And today we're going to be discussing The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. So, this massive break of a book is one that had been on my bucket, another one from my bucket list, that I had been putting off reading for years and years because it is so very long. But then when I finally got around to reading it, I was really surprised by what a fast read it was. Because it is, for such a long book, this is incredibly fast-paced. You want to keep reading. You don't want to put it down. You want to just keep going and find out what happens next. Which is really hard to maintain over a book this long. And I realized fairly early on that the key to enjoying this book, you cannot take it too seriously. This is a romp. This is a total romp. You have to come at this book with the same mindset you would have coming at a Marvel comic, coming at Spider-Man or Batman.
It's an extended revenge fantasy.
Oh, it's a total extended revenge fantasy. And The Count of Monte Cristo is totally a superhero. Mm-hmm. He is a superhero complete with origin story. And the first section of the book is his origin story. Mm-hmm. He's been wrongfully imprisoned. His sweetheart has been stolen by one of the guys who has wrongfully imprisoned him. And there's a few different guys who have conspired to do this. And then the rest of the book, so that's how he became a superhero, the being wrongfully imprisoned, and he meets a very influential guy who leads him to a fortune. And then the rest of the book is him taking his revenge. So
in increasingly elaborate ways.
In increasingly elaborate and unlikely ways. So, I mean, the coincidences in this make Dickens look incredibly realistic. Mm-hmm. So you can't come at this expecting it to be, scientific realism. Just enjoy it. Just go with the flow, because you're not meant to pick this apart with the scientific method. You're just meant to enjoy it. It's meant to be a fun book.
This is not a book for literary criticism.
No. And I know a lot of people assign this for literature, and it's become known as high literature with a capital L, but it's not meant to be. It's just meant to be fun. It's meant to be a really enjoyable book, which is exactly what it is. And it has a cast of characters that would put the Shanghai telephone directory to shame. There are so many characters in this, and some of them disappear for really long sections at a time. And it can be hard to keep them straight because with all of these different characters, in the first place, you've got a huge cast of characters. And also, sometimes they're referred to by their first name, sometimes they're referred to by their last name, sometimes they're referred to by their titles, and sometimes they're referred to by their alias. So you've got to keep track, and because some of them are related by blood, some of them have the same last name. So you've got to keep track of who's the Count and who's the Viscount. And it keeps you on your toes. It really does. And just like a Marvel comic, where part of the fun of a Marvel comic is being able to feel like you're in the know, because you can spot, hey, I know that supervillain. He was back in this Marvel comic. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing in this book, where one of the characters reappears again, and you can say, where did I see? Oh yes, I remember who he is.
And there's not really just a sort of coincidence. This was written as a serial.
Right. Very
much like a long-running comic series.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And there are all these complicated relationships like in a comic series. Mm-hmm. And so you've got to keep track of who is related by blood to who is related by these complex intrigues to who, and who is related to who, by the fact that they have betrayed them. So A betrayed B, and B is related by blood to C, and you've got to keep track of all of this stuff. So again, just like a comic series, that's part of the fun. That's part of the I'm cool because I can keep track of all of this joy of it. Personally, I mean, you've got to love the Count of Monte Cristo. He's the protagonist. And then there's the Greek princess who he winds up with, who is just very sweet. The side character who I found particularly interesting was Noirtier. Now, Noirtier is an old man, and he has been a stroke victim. So he can only communicate by blinking. And so this creates a lot of suspense, because anytime he wants to communicate something, he can communicate yes and no, and anything else he has to communicate by someone getting out a dictionary, and then he basically has to blink until they've got the right letter. And he has to spell out everything he wants to communicate, which is a great plot device for if you want to really drag out a scene to make it really long and suspenseful. I think Dumas was very clever in doing that. And that was a lot of fun. And again, I was really surprised by how fast this went, because looking at it, I thought, oh, this is going to take forever. But it's a classic, and so I should read it. But then when I started it, I realized, hey, I don't want to put this down. I want to find out what happens next. Which it takes a really good writer to pull that off. And so I enjoyed that about it. And can you think of other massive tomes that are as long as this, but as fast-paced as this?
Oh, it's, I don't think anything quite matches that.
No. I mean, some of the works of Victor Hugo are as long as this, but they don't read as fast.
Right. Les Miserables would be an example.
It's as long, but I don't... It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good book, but I don't think it's as fast-paced as this one.
Right. And the canonical Don Quixote is similar, but also not as fast-paced.
That's a bit of a slog. I've read that one.
Right.
It's a slower read.
Yes. Well, it was...
it's a good story, but it's... I really had to slog my way through Don Quixote, but this is a page-turner. It really is. And...
Well, Don Quixote is so much older that the sort of cultural context is so different that it's less accessible.
That's true. And I think part of what makes this so much more accessible is that revenge is a human... That's something that humans can relate to. Revenge is something that resonates throughout human time, throughout human history. Don Quixote...
He's not as much of a superhero.
No, he's sort of a tragic, he's a tragic hero is what he is. And the decline of chivalry, it's interesting, it's sad, but it's not as resonating with an audience across centuries as straight out revenge. And I think that's part of what keeps this very resonant and very relevant throughout different times. And it's really fun. Everyone wants to think that if something terrible happened to them, they could be the biggest badass the world has ever seen. And Monte Cristo is one of those. So don't be scared by how long it is, because it'll go much faster than you think. And if you haven't read it, absolutely pick up a copy. It is great. So, and while you're reading it, you can get your weightlifting in. So, thank you for watching today. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a nice thumbs up, and remember to tell your friends about my books. Happy reading!